Community Connection on KGNB, brought to you by Waters International Realty.
This is Paige Green with your Community Connection. We're here with Summer Sahd from the Children's Grief Program at Hope Hospice. Summer, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Paige?
I'm good, thank you for asking. So can you tell me or give me a quick rundown about what Hope Hospice is?
Sure, thank you for asking. So, Hope Hospice is a nonprofit hospice site here in New Braunfels, Texas. It is 40 years old, which is lovely, and it is comprised of multiple different entities such as our nurses, our hospice nurses, our social workers, our chaplains, counselors, directors of development and business, as well as our grief center, which is connected to Hope Hospice, and our grief center is called the Hampel-Weist Grief and Hope Center, where we offer all plethora of services such as individual counseling, play therapy, groups for grief support, as well as some pre-bereavement support individually, working with our hospice side, as well as camps and events in the community, so a whole plethora of experiences that we offer, and are honored to get to serve patients on our hospice side, as well as patient families who have begun or are entering their grieving process.
And you mentioned camps and events. Do you have any upcoming events?
Yes, we do. I'm very excited to share that our Camp Haven Heart Youth for this fall is fast approaching, and that will be on October 21st through the 22nd. It is a camp that is free to all of the New Braunfels community members, whether they're on our service or not, as well as the surrounding areas. And it's free thanks to our generous donors and grantors, including the Kringaski Foundation, McKenna Foundation, the United Way of Comal County, Baptist Health Foundation, the Frog Holler Outdoors, and many other generous donors who took the challenge to send a child to camp at a recent gala. And so more about camp. This Camp Haven Heart Youth coming up in this fall, again, is October 21st through the 22nd. And it's an overnight camp, so there are 2 days with one overnight stay for children ages 7 to 18. It'll be located in Fisher, Texas, at a campsite that is really beautiful and in the nature. And the deadline to apply, which maybe I'll repeat at the end too, but is September 22nd of this year, 2023. And we have camp applications online at hopehospice.net/grief/events. And so families of children or guardians, caretakers of children who may benefit from attending can complete an application and return it to us via email at grief@hopehospice.net, or they're welcome to turn it in to our in-person office and grief center, which is located at 611 North Walnut Avenue, New Braunfels, Texas, 78130.
What are children going to be doing at Camp Haven Heart Youth?
Great question. So our Camp Haven Heart Youth is specifically for children who have experienced the death of somebody close to them, whether it's an immediate family member, a friend, an aunt, an uncle. And so the camp is comprised and dedicated specifically for children who have had that experience. And so the activities, some of them are tailored to a grief focus, and that can include grief education via children's books or activities, discussions, and especially art and expressive and crafted arts, as well as movement and recreation, which can include yoga, general play with sports, as well as archery and canoeing, and challenging campers by choice, which will include high ropes or zip lining. And so some of that you can see is a blend of grief focus, and where the kiddos get to learn coping skills, or just what grief means and what it means for them specifically, and have opportunities to process some of their feelings that maybe they don't otherwise get to process at school or in their day-to-day, or maybe don't know how yet. And so some of it is certainly grief-focused, and we have opportunities for memorializations, which is a really beautiful moment at camp, as well as just play and connection with their peers. And so it's definitely a blend of both play and fun, as well as grief processing, learning, and sharing and supporting of each other and oneself.
For a child dealing with grief and loss, how does being around other children going through similar situations help?
Ooh, that's a great question. I really appreciate that question. For a child specifically, different than maybe adults who maybe have already gone through a loss and death of somebody within their life as they've grown older and just gotten to experience more life. Children often feel isolated with this experience. They feel like maybe they're the only people that have experienced a death of someone they love, and maybe are more reluctant to share that because they don't want to be different than their peers or feel isolated from other just school events or events of their age. And so coming to a grief camp like this, when they get to share and hear also just the stories and experiences that kiddos their same age or younger or a little older have experienced, there's connection and a sense of feeling less alone with this experience, and it helps them have the courage to share about their own experience, as well as listen and learn how to receive support from even peers their own age, and also how to give it. And so often they just feel a whole lot less alone, and as though that they can connect with others who have been through something similar to them.
Summer, if someone is on the fence about sending their child to Camp Haven Heart Youth, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to certainly check in with their children and offer as much autonomy as possible, and just see if they're ready for an experience like this. And if they're on the fence and even their kiddo is unsure, because sometimes you don't know until you know, and trying something out and experiencing it for your own self before just thinking about just what it could be, or kind of not having that experience yet. I think if they're uncertain, I would recommend that they still fill out an application, and they can come. Anyone who is attending camp will go through a camp interview with myself, and so I'll get to meet with all of the families, and especially the kiddos who are attending. I'll get to share about myself, about camp and what it can look like, show them scrapbooks that we've created of past camps, explain the activities, and really get an assessment and sense of if they're ready for something like this. And if they're not, that's so okay, and there will be future camps every year. And if they are, we'll learn that and get to talk more about what it will look like, and maybe build some excitement and security, and just having an idea of what it will look like.
That was Camp Haven Heart Youth, October 21st through 22nd. It is free for anyone. You can register at hopehospice.net/grief/events, and you have to register and apply by September 22nd. Thank you, Summer Sahd from Children's Grief Program at Hope Hospice. Is there anything you would like to add about Hope Hospice or Camp Haven Heart?
I would just like to add, again, my greatest gratitude to our community donors and grantors for helping make this camp be free and accessible to so many children and families who might otherwise not know about experiences like this or get to attend something as meaningful as this. And I would like to express just my own gratitude for the community of previous campers who have attended, and volunteers certainly who attend to help camp run smoothly, who are licensed counselors or students or just community members, or especially Hope Hospice staff who donate their time to spend with kiddos who deserve this space and time, and my own gratitude for just this existing and getting to be a part of it. And for you, Paige, for letting me speak about it more as well.
Well, thank you again, Summer Sahd from the Children's Grief Program at Hope Hospice.
Absolutely. Thank you, Paige.